full here. Some have left, but we had a full house, and I would estimate probably in the neighborhood of 55, 60,000, maybe a little bit more looking on right now in the Coliseum and giving a very nice hand to these men who have spent the last 2 days in the decathlon competition, 5 events each day. And you have a situation here where Daley Thompson is the man who needs to run 434.80 or better, and that, Marty LaQuarrie, will establish a new world record, breaking the world mark held by Jurgen Hingsen.
Okay, Albert, let's first talk about the Germans. Let's talk about the German. Hingsen, you'll know because he's tall, 6'7", he probably won't be up in front of the pack. But up by the front should be Jurgen Vence and Kratchmer, who we just saw right there. Kratchmer's run 4:21. His teammate Vence has run 4:19. They're 1 point apart. So the winner between the two of them will get the bronze medal. But it's this man, Daley Thompson, who we saw shaking hands with everyone because it's in the bag for him. The only question now is, will he get the world records? And he kind of said goodbye to everybody because when he crosses that finish line in 3.5 laps, he kind of jogs off into the Bruce Jenner sunset. You know, he'll be swept away. And there's Vence, who has the shot at the bronze, 1 point behind his teammate Kratchmer.
That's going to really be a great battle as well, because Kratchmer's best time is 4:21.2 and Vence 4:19.8, so they're in the same ballpark.
It's come down to 2 equal competitors in this race, running it as if the previous 9 events did not matter. Now, Daley Thompson.
There's Kratchmer, the other man with a chance for the bronze. As we look at the standings, as far as the top 10 are concerned, the only spot that figures to change, or spots, would be 3 and 4. Everything else is pretty much locked up right now. And as far as the Americans are concerned, Christ is in 6th place, Wooding is in 7th, Bright is in 9th, and you can see that reflected there. And
we may see John Christ of the United States leading this race. There's Daley Thompson. He needs a 4:34.8 to set the world record. He has run 4:20 for the 1500 meters in a decathlon, but that was when he was 17 years old. He says, I can run it that fast, but I've never had to yet because since that time I've been winning the decathlon. So we'll see how much he pushes. He could break the world record by up to 100 points in this race.
What you're really doing is running against the clock. It figures that Hingsen will beat him in this race. Hingsen is better in the 1500 with a best time ever of 4:12.3. Thompson's best time 4:20.3. If he runs close to that, he will really shatter the world mark, which is 8,798 points. So right now, out in front, you have Vence of West Germany, who is vying for the spot. You've got Hingsen.
Vence, and Kratchmer does not seem to be. No, Kratchmer is the blonde with the beard. Does not seem to be up there. He has let Vence get away. Guido Kratchmer, a foe of Bruce Jenner's, and he certainly has paid his dues, but after this first lap, it looks like he's let the bronze medal slip away. We'll be watching Daley Thompson very closely. He needs to run 73 seconds per lap to get the world record.
Daley Thompson back in the pack, but again, it really doesn't matter where you finish. He's running against the clock is what it amounts to. And for the record, he'd be in 7th position at the moment in a field of 12.
He just ran a 69.7 lap, so he's about 2 seconds up on world record pace.
That's Hingsen, who is leading. As we say, Hingsen should beat Thompson easily in this race. Vence is in 2nd position, but Daley's big foe is the clock. Again, he needs to beat 4:34.80. If you're wondering what Hingsen would have to beat Thompson by to win the gold medal, about 32 seconds. So unless Daley falls down and faints, forget it. No way can Hingsen beat him by that much.
Well, Hingsen has had a good decathlon. He is the world record holder. Yesterday, he had a tough time in the high jump. His knee was hurt. I said when he left the field, he'd have a rough night. He probably did, but he came back and was in one piece today. But then in the javelin, an elbow injury, which has been bothering him all year, gave him a problem, but he still has managed to hang on to 2nd place. He held together well.
In the battle for the bronze medal, that's Vence in very good shape right now in 2nd position. And there is Kratchmer really laboring. So Vence appears to be on his way to the bronze medal.
And we see that Daley Thompson has just crossed 1:06.76 for that lap. So he has now fallen back much slower than the first lap, but his overall time, he is still right smack on world record pace. I don't know if he's got the clarity to be watching the clock to know it, because I don't think he would want to cut it this close. He slowed down 6 seconds in that lap, and he's going to now have to get back on a 73-second pace for this lap.
He has not been on easy street all day if you've been following this story. Early today, he had 2 horrible discus throws, and then on his 3rd throw, he was able to maintain his advantage over Jurgen Hingsen, but he was on his way to perhaps blowing the gold medal with 2 terrible throws in the discus ring. But here is Daley Thompson right now. He'll be crossing the line, and then 1 lap to go for him.
Well, I'll tell you, if Daley doesn't get the record and he loses it in this 1500, his good friend Steve Ovett is going to be kidding him. Ovett once said to Daley Thompson that the decathlon is 9 wimp events and the 1500, so he's not going to let it slip away in this event.
I'd like to see Ovett try to pole vault anyway, if nothing else. So the crowd cheering on Thompson and all of the decathletes. He needs a 70-second last lap.
He just dropped off again to a 75-second lap, so he was 2 seconds off the pace. He needs a 70-second lap. I think he can do it, but he's made it dramatic.
Well, Vence will win the bronze medal, but the big story here with the flashbulbs popping all around the Coliseum, that man, the son of a Nigerian father and a Scottish mother, and everybody looking at him and looking at the clock as well, as Daley Thompson makes his way down the stretch. Hingsen has finished. Thompson now coming home to the roar of the crowd. You see the clock. He needs to beat 4:34.80 is what he needs to beat, and it is 4:35 unofficially. 4:35, and he has just missed the world record. Just missed it by 0.2 of a second. That is the official time right there.
I'm surprised because for the first time in maybe the history of the Olympic Games, the scoreboard clock, they timed the loser of the race, and as you see, he is missing it by 0.2 of a second. Our hand timing, which is probably not as accurate as the scoreboard clock, had him breaking the record by 0.05 of a second. But we'll just have to wait and see on that. Very close. I was surprised. I never saw them do that. Put the clock on one of the losers in the race.
There's Vence. The winner of that race was Dave Steen of Canada, who is way, way down in the standings. But he wound up with the best performance at 15. Vence, who really had no competition in this one, as Cratchford dropped back early and was never in it. Vence will wind up as the bronze medalist. And there is Daley Thompson of Great Britain. 2 Americans, Christ and Wooding, passing by, and he will wind up, unofficially anyway, with 8,797 points by our count. This is unofficial, and that would be 1 point shy of Hingsen's world record. But Daley Thompson mustering the strength right now to jog through a victory lap. He spends half the year training here in Southern California, the other half in England. Hingsen as well spends a good deal of time training in Southern California. And the 2 West Germans right there, the 2 medalists, the silver and the bronze for Hingsen and for Vence. But Daley Thompson has made history as he joins Bob Mathias as the only 2-time winner of the Olympic marathon. Remember, he was in the 1976 Olympics as well in Montreal, the year Bruce Jenner won. He was just getting started, finished well back in the pack. Here's a man who does not talk about cashing in on the fame of being a decathlon champion. All he's talking about right now is Seoul, Korea in 1988, and an attempt now to become the first ever 3-time decathlon gold medal winner. Daley Thompson, a very likable and bright and intelligent and interesting man. We had an up-close and personal on him yesterday. Many of you know about his background. Great sense of humor, very articulate, very expressive. We've been watching him for 2 days, always smiling, always responsive to the crowd, and now they are responding very much in kind to a man, the type of athlete that develops that great empathy with the big crowd, and he's done just that. So there he is, the gold medalist, Daley Thompson of Great Britain. Let's go back to Jim McKay.
Well, this comes from a friend of Daley Thompson's who said that about a year ago, Daley told him he sent a postcard to Bob Mathias that said, "Bob, I'm going to get you." And he did get him. He became only the second man ever to win the Olympic decathlon twice in a row. You see the front of his T-shirt? It said, "Thanks, America, for a good games and a good time." Daley Thompson, salute him here tonight. The welterweight semifinal coming up in boxing. That'll be live. Mark Breland of Brooklyn, New York, against Luciano Bruno of Italy. Right